Hello my friends, how are you? Always good to see you for yet another video. I'll tell you my friends, it has been a busy couple of days around here. I'm just getting around to recording another video for you, and I haven't really had the chance to keep up with the current news, what's going on with the Trump administration today or anything like that. I'm always kind of thankful for weekends these days, not because I'm off on weekends. Look at me, I'm back in a truck, my friends. Can you believe it? I told you I would be. But because we finally get off the roller coaster of Donald Trump and his bullshit, once we get a weekend. He goes golfing, he spares us all from his nonsense, and decides to do absolutely nothing. So the weekends, even though I have to work, are sort of a calm time for me, where I don't have to be worried about the absolute carnage that Donald Trump is causing in the world. So I haven't spent a lot of time looking at the current events. I'm trying the current events today, but what I did do is I found myself going down this rabbit hole of a couple different demographics here in America. One of those being small business owners that are having to deal with the repercussions of the Donald Trump tariffs. I mean, the normal things that you think might be going on. They're worried about how they're going to restock, whatever merchandise they sell. They're worried about if they can afford it. The tariffs are absolutely going to crush small business in America, and we're starting to see that, of course. I think there was a little something with pullbacks on tariffs having to do with China, but I haven't got to look into it yet. So feel free to throw it in the comments. I would say if you know more than I do, but you probably know more than I do. So definitely let me know what's going on with China, because I haven't looked into that yet. I just heard a quick snippet of it earlier. But what I didn't hear from the small business owners was anything to do with they weren't saying that I still support Trump, or even if they voted for Trump. From all the interviews I saw, they weren't saying that they don't regret their vote. As a matter of fact, they were saying they do regret their vote. They're losing their livelihoods. It's all going down. It's all fucked, right? They're just freaking out. And they should be, because we all know what this is. This is a power grab by the rich to take money from the poor. Not only money, but businesses, farmland, you name it. It's a massive wealth transfer to the rich that's going on in this country right now. I'll get to the farmers in a minute, but I should elaborate on that just a little bit, shouldn't I? Well, Donald Trump's manipulation of the stock market. He keeps draining your 401ks and IRAs so that his rich buddies can buy at whatever the current bottom is, because Donald Trump put tariffs on all the world. And if you don't believe me, then why was Donald Trump standing in the Oval Office with two rich motherfuckers talking about how he made $900 million today and he made $2.5 billion today, and they were just yucking it up, just laughing, having a good time at your expense, while you're like, fuck, I was gonna retire and now I fucking can't, or I have to wait a couple more years. But they were having a good time, weren't they? I mean, as long as they're making the money, that's all that really matters. But we know this is a massive wealth transfer. Anyways, no business owners saying that they were excited for what was happening. But then, my friends, we get to the goddamn farmers. And here's where I get so pissed off, because you guys know I'm from the country. You guys know I lived on a farm when I was a kid. I grew up around farmers. I grew up around hardworking people that believed in, even if the term's fucked up, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and working for what you want and working hard and all these things, right? And now we're in a completely different world. Because what we know last time is that Donald Trump bankrupted the farmers last time around with his Chinese tariffs, and the American people and the federal government ended up bailing out the farmers because they couldn't sell their fucking soybeans. We already know this happened, right? And I always want to give the hardworking Americans sort of the benefit of the doubt. Like, they didn't know any better, you live and you learn. But this is the second fucking time around. And when I started this channel, I was full of sympathy for these poor farmers that are going to lose their farms, and oh, how can we ever help them, and all these things. And as the days pass by, as this goes on longer and longer, I don't have any more fucking sympathy to give anymore. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I started watching these interviews with various farmers all over the country. You remember not too long ago, a guy went viral on TikTok because he spent a bunch of money that he thought he was going to get, but from funds that were set aside by Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. And he thought he had all this money for his farm, and he went and spent all the money only to find out that Donald Trump and Elon Musk had froze his funds, and he was not able to get the money. Now, I don't know if that story ended up having a happy ending, because sometimes the only way to get shit done in this country is to go fucking viral on the internet, and then people will start paying attention to you. So he may have got a good ending out of that, but he was in a fucking panic. And what did that farmer say? What did that farmer say when he went on to TikTok to defend himself? I don't have it verbatim, but he went on to talk about how I had to think about what he said. I couldn't remember. I should remember this bullshit by now. But anyways, he was talking about how he still supports Trump. And the alternative was Kamala, and she would have been so much worse for him. Never mind that she wouldn't have been. That's obviously not the fucking case, but never mind that the money came from the Inflation Reduction Act to begin with. Do you think Kamala honestly would have taken away that funding? Not even a little bit. And my friends, I thought this was just one farmer with his fucking screws loose, and you know what? We could all forget about him and move on. Fuck him. He decided to fuck up his whole life. Who cares if he gets his money, right? Well, I'm finding out more and more that these farmers are basically sheep to fucking slaughter at this point. I want to be fair. I did see a few interviews where farmers said, yes, I regret my vote for Donald Trump. And good for them. Look, if you fuck up in life, you just say, yep, I fucked up, and you kind of move on and go on with your life. Move past it if you can, right? There were a few. But there were far too few for me to feel fucking comfortable with, all right? There was one interview I watched where this lady reporter, I don't remember her name, went out to meet with a family of farmers. They were third generation farmers, and they were so proud that they've been doing it forever. One of the interesting things they say is there's not a lot of jobs in America where you get to say that you're the third generation of doing that thing. For the record, I am a third generation trucker. Can you believe it? Yeah. Diesel runs in our blood, apparently. I don't fucking know. But there are some jobs where you get to do that. And he did say a weird thing, though. Maybe it was just a weird thing to say. He's like, you don't hear of many third-generation dentists. And yeah, you probably do. There's probably plenty of third-generation dentists out there for sure. But anyways, they were so proud that this is the third generation. And they talked about how hard they worked, what hard workers they were. Get up before the sun comes out. Go back home after the sun goes down. Do what it takes to get the job done, all these fucking things, right? And they did vote for Donald Trump. So they were asked about the tariffs. And this is where my blood started to boil, my friends, where I started to feel like, you know what? Maybe it's not worth my fucking sympathy anymore. Maybe I shouldn't be involved in this bullshit anymore. They said things to the effect of they trust in Donald Trump. They know that he's a smart man, and he is going to, one way or another, do the right thing for the country. And another thing that fucking bothered me while I was watching this video was one of the younger farmers. He had said, well, Donald Trump is doing this short-term pain for long-term gain. So he was asked about the last time Trump was in office. You remember when he bankrupted all the farmers because of the soybean tariffs having to do with China, and then we had to bail him out. You know why I'm repeating that? Because somebody needs to start fucking listening. That's why I'm telling you the same story I told you at the beginning of the fucking video. So he was asked what was the long-term gain that came out of that, and he said, well, I really don't know. I don't think we actually had one. So how do you go back and you continue to make the same fucking decision over and over and over, and you know that it fucked you last time, and you're able to reflect on that time? That's the most important part, you would think, right? You can reflect on that time and go, okay, there was no long-term gain that came out of the Donald Trump presidency. As a matter of fact, we needed a fucking bailout so that we could continue to have our family farm that's been in our family for 3 fucking generations. When you reflect on something like that, you normally go back to it and go, well, that was a stupid fucking decision on my part, and I should not fucking do that again. Well, not these farmers. No, not these hillbillies. They sure did not. They said, well, we still trust him, and we know that he's going to do the right thing. You thought I'd said all the interesting things so far, didn't you? Well, I'm not done yet. There was still more to it. So after he asked the question, the lady farmer started answering the question, I think, also, where she said, well, we're good, hardworking, positive, faithful people. So when things like this start happening, we just pray. Well, my friends, I'm not religious, so maybe that hits different with a lot of people. I'm not necessarily opposed to people having religion. It's when they start making it into policy that it starts to fucking bother me. That's the only time I really care about religion. But maybe that hit different for people that are religious. But for me personally, the way I listened to that lady to say it, if somebody were to tell me, wait, how do I want to say this? I'm sorry, it's been a long 2 days, my friends. I've been working my ass off for 2 days over here. Anyways, if I were to vote for a president, which I did, Kamala Harris, just in case you're wondering, I would not ever vote for a president that I knew last time bankrupted my family and then say, I'm going to vote for him again, and then I'm just going to fucking pray that everything goes right. You know you didn't have to pray, right? You know what you could have done? You know what you could have done is voted for, I don't want to say this the wrong way because Kamala is her own person. She is a Democrat though, obviously, but basically Joe Biden's predecessor who made it possible for them to get the funding they needed through the Inflation Reduction Act. Why would you vote for the guy when those are your choices, right? When those are your choices. One guy is a fucking lunatic that doesn't understand foreign policy except he thinks he can bully the world with tariffs, and last time there was a trade war with China, you went broke and had to wait for a government check to show up to help you. That's one choice. And then on the other hand, you've got a Democratic president that may have kept, probably would have kept some Joe Biden policies in place. And so you know that through the Inflation Reduction Act, because these farmers do fucking know. They know that that's where they're getting the money. That's the most shocking part about it. You know that Kamala Harris most likely would have kept you out of this situation. And farming ain't easy, baby. Farming is a hard fucking way to make a living. It's hard enough on its own. And then you've got a president that's against you. Why? Let me repeat this for the millionth fucking time on this channel. Because J.D. Vance is, I believe, part owner or has a huge stake or interest in an app called Acre Trader, which profits off of trading acreage when your broke asses can't afford to keep it anymore after Donald Trump's tariffs bankrupt you. Holy shit. The whole point of all of this is just connect the fucking dots. Look at who's doing what and what their interests are, and then you'll figure out why you're fucking broke. So why, on God's green earth, and I know I said I'm not religious, but that's still what I call it if you don't mind, why on God's green earth would those be your two choices? And you go, yep, I still support Trump. I'm just gonna pray. I'm just gonna pray. Because if I have to do anything in life at all, and my solution to that thing in life is I'm just going to pray, in my opinion, it's all over. I'm fucked. So, yeah, prayer is like a last resort for me. Like, fuck, I'm about to meet my maker. This is, shit, I'm not religious, but just in case, fucking kumbaya, fucking whatever, right? And the point of this whole video is I came into this channel a nice young man. I've only been doing this channel for, what, 4 or 5 months now. My beard's turning gray. I'm old leather face looking now. I was a nice innocent young boy when I started this video, and I believe that people just needed to be shown the way, and they would do better. Just explain to them why this is a bad fucking idea. But in Trump presidency term 2, they still support Trump while he is actively bankrupting them. These people are fucking hopeless, and I don't give a fuck anymore if they lose their family farms. It seemed like a great tragedy to me at first, when I first started this channel. And if you keep signing up to be a sheep to the fucking slaughter for Donald Trump and his billionaire buddies, I no longer have sympathy. But I am concerned. Because when the millionaires and billionaires all control our food supply, then they control us too now, don't they? And these farmers are just letting it happen. And I don't ever in my life again with all the things that has happened under both of Donald Trump's presidencies, do I ever want to hear things out of rural America like patriot or patriotic? For a lot of reasons. For one, you're allowing a hostile takeover of your own land in the interest of the billionaires so that they can keep us under control. That's a little bit much, isn't it? I don't want to hear anything about supporting our troops anymore. It's over. You know, if you can vote for a guy that calls them suckers and losers, if you can vote for a guy that hires Elon Musk to throw veterans out of their jobs and cut off their VA benefits, maybe you don't support our troops. And I never again want to hear back the blue. If you can bash the skull in of a police officer because you believed a lie that the election was stolen from Donald Trump, you don't back the blue. And that's the hypocrisy that we live with in this world. In closing, I don't feel bad for these farmers anymore. If that's what they want, they can have it. Love you guys. Bye now.